Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Hey, I'm from Altoona. What you know about me? It's TOOJIGG. Too jiggy. That's right. You know, I had to represent for Altoona because you know that the CEO killer, they found him at a McDonald's in my hometown. So, you know, I gotta put out. I've been trying my best to put Altoona on the map for legitimate reasons.
Right.
And now we're tied to this.
It happens.
So I got to put it out there that I'm from Altoona. Maybe we.
Yeah, shout out
Google
to
search,
Altoona.
he'll drop. He won't, but I'm just
right. He hot right now. He got heat.
You know, I thought Altoona was known for me.
Yeah.
The Jaffa Mosque and for where Jim Cornette hit a fan in the head with his tennis racket.
That was there?
That was there back in like 90 something. I forget. I wasn't there in the building that day, but
yeah,
that's what Altoona.
TJ, you're
no,
like,
I wasn't there.
I was about to say,
I wish
bro.
I was there for that.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah, Altoona, dude, that's wild. That's just been a wild story.
I tried to tell all the time I've been here. I've been trying to tell people, man, if you ain't from Altoona, they'll never come to Altoona.
Right?
You wouldn't understand Altoona.
Yeah.
Stay the bleep out.
I mean, he should have because
Right.
they got him pretty quick.
Right? No doubt. But anyway,
But
welcome.
yeah, what's going on, guys? I know my man TJ had to hold it down last week, so we want to thank you, TJ.
Actually, I want to thank you for something. I want to thank you for being on the press junket because that did was we had to film our show a day early.
Oh,
which helped us get Trick.
Right.
Because
exactly.
the next day, Trick got dropped on his head, so we wouldn't have been able to.
I mean, the press run has been going great, but yeah, I have such a weird feeling about that being part of like Ridge's thing because it's like I'm so sensitive about the Big E situation, but like, of course, you know, we can only assume that there's a part of him that's like, it's a little touchy. Yeah. But yeah, I love how WWE can, you know, take a real life situation like that and see how they can use it, you know, for good. But it makes you wince a little bit. And even when the New Day broke up and Ridge posts on his Twitter a post of him just looking victorious.
Oh, he did that?
Oh my God.
I didn't see that.
It was diabolical.
Yeah,
it was diabolical. But yeah, let's talk about the New Day.
New Day.
We didn't get to crack that open how it should have been.
We weren't together when that happened. Of course, you know, Woods and Kingston, they've been struggling the last few months, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like it all came to a head. Remember, you and I said the stuff that they said to one another, I don't know if you can come back from that. Like they got real personal and it was biting, man. And then so the next week, 10-year celebration, we figured one of two things were going to happen. Either those two were going to split or he would come back and they'd get together. Segment starts for like the first, 5-10 minutes, no Big E. So we're like, okay, he's not here.
Right.
And then
it was pretty good.
It was
the vibes was nice.
Yeah.
You was like, okay.
They were setting us up for, we're going to split.
Yeah.
And he comes out. I got to be honest, though, I didn't love the pop he got. I don't know what was going on that week. Maybe it's because we've seen him a lot. It wasn't like he was completely gone from TV, but I thought the pop would be a little bit bigger, but whatever, it was what it was. It got bigger at the end of the night.
I think the pop had to do with like that solo run that Big E went on. Yes, you know, it stands out because, you know, it was another historical time where we held a top championship in the company. But I think as long as we've been waiting to see Big E come out on the ramp, we were waiting for that. Oh, like that.
So we didn't get that.
We
when
didn't
the music
get that.
hit.
And I think there was a little bit of just like, oh yeah, this is Big E's song.
Kind of forgot that was his song, man.
Yeah. So like, you know, I just think it was just type of like,
caught
okay,
people off guard. Okay. Yeah.
You know, shout out to no shout out to Def Rebel, but Wale on the track. But yeah, I think that had to do with it a little bit. And then when he came out, you know, everybody got that false bit of hope when he dropped that "I'll be your manager."
Yeah, it was like bet.
That was perfect. That was perfect because it was like this is the answer. And then that look that they gave.
Yeah. Now, when Wood said now, I went, oh, wow. Because we didn't see that coming.
No.
Not the hill run, not them kicking him out the group.
Yeah.
You know, so that really messed a lot of people up. You know, social media went nuts, you know, as we touched on a little bit last week. But now this week, New Day comes out.
Yeah. And they got,
even before they came out, there was some backstage interactions. A lot of wrestlers
they didn't
giving
give no daps.
None.
You couldn't even get a dap from Natalia.
Of all
people. She likes everybody.
Loves everybody.
But
they were, you know, people were side-eyeing them. You know, Cody came out, had some words, which is funny because if you know the history, right? Cody and Woods legitimately had a high school wrestling rivalry in Georgia back in the day. So
I just saw some real life,
so there is some real life, not animosity, but they at least have that real life connection there, but they should be ashamed of themselves. And then, you know, they come out and then they got the dirty Dom reception from the crowd. Like, did you ever in your life think that you would hear Kofi Kingston get booed?
Never. Everybody liked Kofi, you know.
Loves Kofi. And like CM Punk said, you know.
You're making me crazy. But yeah, he's just what would CM Punk call? You call him just a terrible human being. Right. Yeah, bro. And I love the subtleties. The New Day have been so in pocket when it comes to this story that I love the subtleties that they've been doing, whether it was, you know, the anime references with Kofi dressing up as Goku and Xavier was dressing up as Goku Black for, if you don't know, it's an evil version of Goku. It's a long story.
I'm not really into the anime like that, so I have to go online and kind of pick up these things.
Yeah, and Kofi has been wearing a necklace that has an M on it. Now that M is still a reference to Dragon Ball Z. There was a character by the name of Vegeta who was a good guy, but then he let this is going to get crazy, but we're talking wrestling. Like, you can disband your belief a little bit.
Right.
This wizard takes over Vegeta's mind, and Vegeta becomes a savage, just becomes evil, and he becomes Majin Vegeta. And that M is like a brand on Vegeta's forehead when he's under the spell. So Kofi wearing that same M is just a subtlety to the character nod of just like the evil has taken over him. So like that,
I never would have known that.
Yeah, it's a slight anime reference for those who know. And so for him to be rocking the Majin M is just showing that like a character who used to be good has seen how strong they can be if they let that evil take over.
Wow. Yeah, see, like I said, I'm not really in anime. Yeah. I know a lot of their stuff is anime based, so I don't, it doesn't hit for me the way it hits for some people.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not into it.
Subtleties like that where you're like, well, man, these dudes are in pocket, and it's great to see. It should be a nice, refreshing rejuvenation for them. And I don't think this is the last we'll see of the Big E encounter.
Well, we can hope not. You know, I who knows? Will the man ever be able to wrestle again?
Right.
Honestly, I don't care. And I say I don't care because for him, I hope nothing but a long life, pain-free, being able to move when he's an old man. So if that means he can't come back, then, you know, obviously I can't speak for him. I don't know him. I don't know what's in his heart. But I'm more so for him having a healthy life. That's all I
healthy really life over entertaining me always,
because he's already done enough.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we've seen plenty situations where he can still be effective story wise or business wise without it being an in-ring performance. But yeah, something in me tells me that this isn't the last interaction we'll see. Who knows if one day we don't get Big E coming out and being like, you guys are right. And, you know, just going that direction, and then we get evil New Day.
Wow.
Like,
think about that.
The possibilities are there. They're in their bag right now.
Right.
It's some S tier character work.
Would you say, obviously, Bash at the Beach 96, we spoke about it with Eric Bischoff. I think it's universally looked at as maybe the biggest heel turn of all time with Hulk Hogan. But I don't know where this would rank in terms of the creation of the NWO, but if there is a list, this is on that list of just the most shocking heel turns that
10 years
you've ever seen. And, you know, when they came out to the crowd, first of all, and they were getting that nuclear heat.
Yeah.
They couldn't even speak. And what's at one point was like, it's not like we hit, or I'm not sure if Kofi or Xavier said it, but it was like, not like we hit Big E with a chair or anything.
Right.
But
you could took a sledgehammer to his neck.
Right. But you could barely hear that because the crowd was so loud. And
there's two different chants going against them.
Big E.
The Big E and New Day sucks.
But what if one of them would have grabbed a hold of that chant and went, yeah, we wanted Big E too.
You're right. Well,
I think that would have paused the crowd. You know what I mean?
It was a situation. Also, let me just talk to Wichita a little bit. Wichita, Kansas. How you were supposed to do that is, we want Big E. New Day sucks. We want, but y'all couldn't get the rhythm, baby.
Rhythm, it's like a lot of people haven't double dutched and it shows.
But it still worked because it just sounded like so much chaos that there was no way for them to get any words out. It reminded me of Elias and Kevin Owens. Elias and Kevin Owens one time had
in Seattle.
It
was in Seattle.
Worst booze I've ever heard. When
Kevin Owens said something about the Supersonics
and how Seattle didn't deserve a basketball team, and then Elias chimes in, but Oklahoma City, now they deserve
What I remember about that is they went to commercial, they came back, and the crowd was even louder booing when they
dude,
you can't mess with the Supersonics in Seattle.
That by far was the worst I had ever seen, and this kind of was close to that. The arena adds to it. It was a smaller venue. Those intimate kind of settings really, really feed off the crowd. And it was bad. I would have never guessed that they would have got that.
But they had to get in the backstage area and be like,
yeah, we got them.
Because you can't ask for, that was probably more than they expected. Mm-hmm. They could not have seen the revolt that was going to happen. So I'm interested. Now I'm all in. I want to see where this goes. Obviously, you would figure another title run is coming soon.
It's happening.
It's coming very soon.
Especially because,
to the detriment of some teams who probably were ahead of them on that list.
Street Profits.
Yeah, and now New Day, we're moving you to the top of the list.
It's hard not to get them with that type of heat, with that type of reaction. It's hard to keep them off TV. And then when Raw, their tag team title situation isn't necessarily the best anyway. Mm-hmm. They just haven't booked it.
You got one half of the champs more concerned with the world title,
for the world
which is
title.
Understandable. But why is the Freebird rule not in effect for the Judgment Day? Right? Yeah. Why can't Dom and JD or Carlito and JD? Why can't they defend these titles?
Because when Finn held up the world heavyweight title and the tag team title, I was like, oh yeah, he is tag team champion. Yeah. When he came out with it, I was like, oh yeah. They're not going to make, it's not going to be New Day versus Judgment Day, I don't think, because they're not going to go heel versus heel. Because then, what are we?
Unless it's like a fatal 4-way or something.
Yeah, unless it's something like that, match. Exactly. But it obviously Finn has his eyes set on the world title, which I've always been a Finn Balor fan.
Yeah,
and we all know he got the short end of that stick.
Yeah, he did.
Because he's a
first ever Universal Champion.
Yeah, first ever.
And the fact that the man was able to finish that match against Seth Rollins with his shoulder, I forget the exact injury, but it was
basically a turnbuckle bomb to the side.
The fact that he finished that match, won the belt, and then had to give it up. Yeah, I mean, you do have to feel for him a little bit.
I always thought the red belt was cursed.
It seemed
I was like, dude, everybody who gets that gets hurt. And it was so wild. Just like, even with Roman and him having to vacate it because he got sick, I was like, we have to get rid of this red belt, dude. I hated it.
I think it was the Fiend who, was it Bray or the Fiend who I think changed the belt from red to blue on SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and had to switch up. But red belt was cursed.
But yeah, man. So tag team, it's looking like New Day's going to get that run soon. Yeah. Also, speaking of tag team, you got to kind of look at what DIY did, man. The whole heel turn that nobody saw Gargano turn. Yeah. I think the writing has always been on the wall with Ciampa. Yeah. He's a much better heel. And if you watch Ciampa in NXT when Man, the Hill Ciampa is a beast. He's a monster.
He was everything. Back when he was Goldie.
Yes.
That's what
he would call it. He would hug Goldie.
Yeah, bro.
You know, so we knew Ciampa was going to turn to the dark side, but Johnny Wrestling. Yeah. And they won the SmackDown belts from the Motor City Machine Guns. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm okay with it, man. Heel turn, another heel turn we didn't see coming. Yeah. Let's see what DIY can do.
And, I think, because just me being a fan trying to fantasy book, I think the Motor City Machine Guns are so entertaining and they're so crisp in everything that they do that a part of me was like, why this early? Why are they losing it this early? And I think there's a chance that, there's a situation right now where superstars are, the talks of them going to Raw because Raw's about to go to Netflix. I think there's a chance that we see the Motor City Machine Guns go over to Raw because that would be the only reason why I would think to take the title off a tag team that is just, bro, they are out of this world,
Unless that's who you need to go against Hill New Day, maybe that happens. But, tag team wrestling, you're not really sure where the tag team division stacks up. But right now, I think it's in a good place. Yeah,
right now, I definitely do. I hate that Jimmy broke his toe.
Okay, let's talk about this. Right? Yeah. WarGames.
Yeah. Did that hurt?
It might be time to maybe put that on the shelf for a little bit. Yeah. Because this WarGames match, you lost 3 top talents.
In your biggest story.
So now Tongaloa, torn tricep is out.
Yeah.
Jimmy Uso broken toe. Now that should be a fairly quick recovery.
Bronson Reed almost ran off.
His ankle almost snaps off his body, which is awful for Bronson Reed because the last few months they've been building him up to be a monster and being very successful. Now he's going to miss 4, 5, 6 months?
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I've never had my
maybe
ankle
more
like
because
that.
when you're carrying that much weight, he's a big man. You got to really make sure.
Yeah, your physical therapy has to be just incredible. But obviously, they'll take care of him. But it sucks because he was on such a rise, such a high rise. Technically, if we're being real, didn't even really fit in that match. As far as story wise, it was everyone was like, this should just be 4-on-4. This should just be 4-on-4. And then Bronson gets added, and of course Phil gets added. It's unfortunate what happened to Bronson Reed, but dude, everybody's waiting for his return. It's obviously going to be in a great position as well when he comes back. Hopefully.
And also, I love the visual, but maybe no more 380-pound men on 20-foot cages draw. I mean,
who I blame for that?
Edge?
No. I blame Rikishi.
Oh, okay, yeah.
True. Because Rikishi set the standard.
Right.
When I was a kid and I saw Rikishi fall off that cell into the truck.
That was a trust fall.
Boy.
Because if you don't know, it was a Hell in a Cell match. Was it against Taker?
Bro, it was a
because I know Taker, I didn't know whether it was a one-on-one or something.
No, bro. This match had The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Taker, Rikishi.
That's right.
That's nasty. That is a murderer's row of a match right there. That's crazy. And Rikishi, he had the big spot of the night.
Yeah, there was a truck filled with hay that was backed up to the cage side.
Yeah.
So Rikishi had to, on top of this cage, had to place himself perfectly. Undertaker gives him the choke slam, but more of just a push.
Choke push.
And Rikishi, if you ever seen somebody do a trust fall, it's usually with someone 2 feet behind them grabbing them, except this man dropped about 18 feet onto a flatbed of a truck.
Yeah.
That's a lot of trust right there, dog.
Boy, my bonus better be through the roof.
And I remember reading the story. I think his wife was not too happy with him doing that, which I can understand.
That would have been it. Bro, you spin, if you're not flat when you land, if he's spun, just like with Mankind, or Mick Foley said if he would have got more lift on that choke slam through the cell, he said my rotation, bro, I would have landed on my neck.
He would have been dead.
Yeah, shout out to Rikishi, but big fellas, jumping out the sky. Gravity not your friend, dog.
No, MIA tried to tell you that. Gravity's my enemy.
Dog. Come on. Shout out to Bronson Reed.
So my point being in that, man, just I just don't know if it's worth it when you look at the injuries and now how that's going to affect storylines going through. I'm not sure if that was really worth it.
Yeah, and a lot of people get on WWE because, you know, they have these slow, methodical storytelling matches, and they're not doing, you know,
flips and things.
Yeah. I didn't want to say they're gonna get on my ass, but they're not necessarily doing their entire moveset every match, and so like, you know, people try to get on them about that. But your best ability is availability.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not gonna see Randy, you know, and I know he just got back a year ago, but you're not gonna see Randy Orton do a lot of even slams, you know, too much. He has his method of doing things, and you're compelled the entire time. So they just got to switch the formula a little bit of what spots are worth it and what spots we can kind of cheat a little bit.
Yeah. Also, now the women's match, you know, a lot of people online had a lot of feelings about that. Again, when you have your two women's world champions on one team, you would assume that would be an automatic win. So for the heel team to lose that with both champions, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that match was a little rough. It was.
It definitely had its rough spots, but then, you know, they had plenty of WarGames veterans in there too.
First of all,
EO.
Shout out to the EO, because you know how we
with
feel
the
about
liquor color trash can, because we are garbage so far.
You know, and I think that was last year or 2 years ago when they finally put the rope on the trash can so she could carry it. You know, but the EO diving, you know, backflip off the top of the cage is, you know, a standard issue. At this point.
It's Jeff Hardy off the ladder. Like, it has to happen.
So it's happened, I think, I think she's been in 6 matches.
Yeah,
so I think it's happened 5 or
well,
but every time my whole thought process is, you better catch EO.
Yeah, don't you
drop EO. You better drop EO. And of course you had Tiffany doing the moonsault simultaneously on the other side. When's she going to cash in this briefcase, dog?
I know.
Because what better time,
bro?
You got 2 champions.
How
laying there.
insane would that have been?
What am I? You know, for a split second, what I thought was going to happen.
Break it down, TJ.
She cashes it in. She drags Liv over. She pins them both and gets both titles.
Oh my!
I was like, that was going through my mind. I was like, can she do that? You think she could drag one?
And I would have even second guessed it. I would have been like, "This is genius."
You just pinned both champions.
This
is
genius. Now we got women's undisputed.
I think that might have been a lost opportunity,
They would have. The internet would have burnt down.
You know, we have a segment that, like I said, we haven't really labeled it yet, but I'd like to call it Creative Liberties, where we will give our take on storylines. So our creative liberty wise, that's what I think could have happened.
That would have been nasty.
Think about that.
I mean, you know, twice the Tiffy is great.
Yeah.
You know, you got to see her on both
shows. And by the way, Tiffy's a heel, but the fans kind of don't want to boo Tiffy. She gets loud pops every time she's out there.
Number one, she's a monster. All right, she does her character so well, and she's got the athleticism. You believe her. When you see her, you believe her.
And for a great group of a large number of the fan base, that the blonde hair, that's they're going to cheer that
standard issue.
Yeah, they're going to cheer that regardless.
But then when you are in a situation where you see whether she's a heel or not, you see somebody being taken advantage of.
The way Nia has been.
Yeah. The crowd is ready, like, stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and and regardless, heel or not, no matter who cashes in, anytime that briefcase gets exchanged for this gold belt, people are going to pop anyway.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to shock the world.
So just imagine if that could have.
That would have been, oh my.
Because what's she waiting for at this point?
What you waiting for? Mania? What you waiting for? Oh my God, that's a fair point, TJ. That would have been crazy.
It's just it was just something that popped into my head.
Yeah, that's why you're on the No Contest Wrestling podcast, bro.
Speaking of things that I love,
there's
been, you know, everybody knows this. I love Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh man,
so as he's returned the last few weeks, I got to be honest. Part of me wasn't as happy as I should have been. The first time I was like, okay, they're going to drop him out.
Yeah.
And I see the new look and I'm like, okay, maybe.
Right.
But that match against LA Knight, we changed the music from Friday to Saturday. I think the Saturday music was a little bit better, but the whole Samurai Nakamura, I'm actually trying to now research and see what this character is all about. But Samurai Nakamura, I am here for it, man.
Yeah.
I am here for it. Because the reception he got on social media was overwhelmingly positive of people like me who were like, you guys kind of missed the boat on this dude. Let's make it right. And I think maybe now they might be making it right. I mean, I'm here for Shinsuke Nakamura. I love the dude. One of my favorite, if not my favorite wrestler right now. So, of course, I went nuts.
With he deserves it. You know, he deserves it. I'm pretty sure there's an LA Knight fan cussing me out. But, like, bro, if you bring Shinsuke back in that capacity and
with that type of character,
you can't make him lose out the gate.
No.
It would just be it would be damning to everything that he's trying to build. And, you know, for those who know me, know that how I feel about. I feel like they gave Seth Rollins his whole mojo, bro. As a fan, I just feel like they gave Seth his whole mojo. The crazy outfits, the crowd singing my song. I'm like, bro, you the Iowa Shinsuke, dog.
See, I don't know if I ever looked at it like that.
Because Seth, I love Seth, you know, and you know before the Fiend situation, like Seth Rollins, bro, #1 on the planet.
Yeah, and then because of a booking decision, people turned on Seth.
Like it's not his fault.
Come on.
It's like they should have never had him go up against an unstoppable machine in a red cage with red lights. Like they put him in a situation where the crowd was like blaming him for the nonsense. And then, you know, you got people dissing him because his wife is a monster. What do you want me to do? Right. My wife's really cool. She's the champ. Right. Dude, like... And so he was put into an unfair position, and then he went into the whole Messiah thing, and now he's on to the revolutionary thing. The revolutionary version of him just always gave me hints of Shinsuke. They even feuded in the beginning, because they had the similarities are there. So to see this refreshing new look on Shinsuke, he looks to be in his bag. And I mean, it's fun to be a bad guy.
Yeah,
fun to be a bad, and I know he's gonna be great at it.
Another bad guy who, like me personally, I don't care what he does. I ain't booing Nakamura. Ever.
Yeah, I'm not booing Nakamura, bro.
And I said that about Asuka a few years ago. I don't care what she does. I ain't never booing Asuka.
Yeah, I'm not. I ain't
never booing Shinsuke.
And I'll never boo Dominic Mysterio. Never in my life.
Not Dirty Dom.
Not Dirty Dom.
Not the 20-year vet.
Greatest of all time.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so Nakamura getting the dub, that just made my heart happy. You know, DIY, got new tag team champions there. We got a New Day heel turn.
How do you feel about because, you know, a lot of people are nervous about Gargano heel. He's such he's got such a face vibe. He's such a scrappy underdog. If you're going to beat me, I'm going to make you remember me. Type face that people are nervous about the heel. Him and Ciampa put on some great
battles, wars with each other. And if you don't know, go to NXT, go to Peacock before they move it to Netflix and look up some of that NXT black and gold time with those two.
Yeah, it was must-see TV. Obviously, main roster brings, main roster advantages. So we'll see what happens.
Or problems.
Or problems, yeah. More money, more problems. But, I know Ciampa, he's got the whole Matthew McConaughey Reign of Fire, Baby Kratos vibe to him. So I know he can do it, but I'm interested to see where Johnny goes with that here.
And speaking of Ciampa cut one of the best promos maybe of all time. I don't know if you remember this. Remember when he was positioned with The Miz and they were together?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a promo where Logan Paul and Miz were about to go at it, and it was Miz, Maurice, and Ciampa. And they were standing backstage, and Miz started to talk, and Ciampa just took the mic. And he put Miz over greater than anyone's ever put Miz over. And it's another promo worth looking for. And I should have had the date. Maybe next week I will. But he basically told Logan Paul, this is our house, and you're not invited. And the way he put Miz over, how great Miz really is and how he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And I remember Miz just had a look on his face, he looked into the camera oh.
Yeah.
So Ciampa on the mic, if they just let him go, he's nasty, man.
Yeah, absolutely. He's great. He's great at being a heel. His days of being obsessed with Goldie are that's what made me fall in love with NXT, man. And he had a great theme. Yeah, man, I'm ready.
DIY, do it yourself.
I'm ready.
No one's going to do it for you,
bro.
Like we had to do.
Yeah,
you know, no one's doing it for us. We got to do it ourselves. You know, we're hitting roadblocks and things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We out here talking to the people. We here for you. No Contest Wrestling Podcast.
What else we got?
Yeah, what else went down?
Well, then we got the Iron Survivor challenge. That happened in NXT.
Bro,
come on.
Hold on.
Come on.
Let me just talk about Sol Ruka for a second.
Please do. Please do.
Because Sol, listen, I'm such a fan. It's crazy. You so good at what you do, and I'm happy for you.
We don't want no Tyler
But
Bate.
my God, she put on a show.
Yeah.
And it is, she's about to be shot to the moon. You know, just the athletic ability. She's got the fans in the palm of her hands. And side note, to the IWC, you sick bastards. All right. So there was a spot.
The IWC, I whine constantly.
Yeah.
I whine constantly.
I love that, TJ. This is what I'm talking about. So there was a spot that she did where she does this, you know, handspring out of the ring. Mm-hmm. There was an individual on X, Twitter, said, I've never seen anything like that. And of course, the hoity-toity, you didn't watch whatever the hell fans, instead of informing, took that time to just be pompous wrestling fans. There's a lot of people who don't watch every bit of wrestling. Right. So no, they don't know the great Sasuke. Yeah. So you have to inform them, hey, let me show you, this is where they got it from. And you can say that without being an ass. Because all that does is make people want to call you an ass, okay? There has to be a sense of etiquette when you're giving people information on wrestling without you being a dick. So I just want you guys to know the best way to let everyone be involved in a sport that a lot of us get bagged on for watching anyway. You got to be more inviting. I'm sorry I have to teach you social skills, but don't be an ass. Thank you.
This message was brought to you.
O'Shea Jackson Jr., the heel that you love to hate.
The views expressed by O'Shea, they do reflect TJ's as well. I'm all for him. Yeah, you know, like I try to do every week. I try to at least let people know about a match that they should go look at. Yeah. You know, just try to inform. I'm older, so I've watched a lot more wrestling than someone who say just started watching wrestling in the 2000s. Right. So my goal, like you said, we all get crapped on so much for watching wrestling. You know how many friendships of mine have started just by someone going, "Hey, I heard you like wrestling." Yeah. And my first instinct is, yeah, bro. And it's like, me too. I was like, all right, bet we're friends. Yeah. So yeah, you know, like, and that's my thing. And that's why we wanted to do this pod, inform people like, yo, this is things you should be watching. You know, Stone Cold was here a few years ago. I was interviewing him in the green room for the Rich Eisen show. And randomly he goes, hey, you ever watch this Terry Funk versus Harley Race match from 77? And I went home that night and it was one of these, 40-minute, like, technical wrestling matches, and I was like, Stone Cold put me onto this match. So yeah, man, that's all we really want to do.
It's like,
so if someone's done something you haven't seen, just let them know. Oh, by the way,
let me know where I got it from.
So watch this.
It's like in music when you hear a rap song and you don't recognize that it's a sample from another song. Show me the song. Don't get on my head because I don't know the Gap Band, like, let me know what's good, right? And we already got we're well past it now, but there was a time you had to talk about wrestling and anime like it was prohibition, right? And like, yo, you watch? Yo, you cool? You watch? You down? You cool? So like, man, don't you don't have to be. It should be no example of a pompous wrestling fan. You gotta treat me or anyone like they're beneath you because I didn't see something on Japan from the whenever the hell. Yeah. Like, inform, man.
That's what's all about.
One band, one sound. It's like just a bunch of nerds. Like, be nice.
It's like when people get mad at other people because they start to like a band. They're like, "Oh, I used to like them back then." Well, that's cool.
Yeah, you were ahead of the curve. I found him now,
but now I like them. So hook me up. Tell me what I should be listening to from game. Put me on. You know what I'm saying?
Don't put me on shame.
Thank you. Once again, this message is brought to you by the No Contest Wrestling Podcast.
You know what it is. We in your ear, in your ear with it.
So back to the Iron Survivor challenge.
Yeah.
Julia wins that thing.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say. Julia.
Yeah. My God.
I mean, she's a star.
Yeah. She also could sing. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Later. But as my boy, who will one day be sitting here on this set, Enzo Amore, used to say, "I'm a star. I take meteor showers." That's what Julia is. She's a star. And so I feel like Roxanne's time with this title is probably the sand to those, as my brother who's on my bar fight team, Karrion Kross, would say, TikTok.
Yeah.
Those sands are starting to drop. I think Joy is going to get that title sooner.
Absolutely. And I also want to point out that Stephanie didn't get pinned.
She didn't get. She was the only one to not get pinned. I think she was the only one on maybe the men. I don't know. Did anyone in the men's match? Did Oba not get pinned? I got to rewatch it.
No.
Anyway, Oba Femi, the dog. Yeah, came out of nowhere. Wasn't scheduled to be in the match. Eddie Thorpe got jumped. Whoever did that heinous act is going to pay for whoever jumped Eddie Thorpe.
Yeah.
And Oba Femi gets put into the match. He wins. He's Iron Survivor champion now.
Yeah.
And he goes on, as we saw yesterday at NXT, he's now challenging our boy Trick Willie.
Which is just insane.
Which is amazing because Trick put Oba on his bar fight crew. He was the first person he mentioned. Yeah. And now we're watching these two, face off. And Oba basically told Trick, look, the only reason there was a whoop that Trick era is because I allowed it.
Yeah.
And I knew when I was ready, I would take that. And it was like, oh.
Chill, bro.
I don't like B-on-B crime.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily love that, and, but there ain't enough of us to.
February too close to be doing this, y'all.
But man, Trick, I think Trick's time to move on up, like George Jefferson said, is here. I don't think it's probably a shock. He's probably going to be dropping this NXT title to Oba, and Trick's going to be packing his bags and moving on up to the main roster. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Trick has the presence. He has the crowd. We spoke about it last week, but for him to even get those chants on the main roster for that little spot that he did,
let people know.
Yeah, like people know of him, and
sometimes you and I, we watch NXT, but these kids get called up. Seems like a lot of these main roster fans never watch NXT and don't know who these people are. So you're right, for him to get that type of reaction says something.
Yeah, because when there was a time just like after a Mania when Vince was still running the show where Ciampa, Gargano, and Alistair all got called up immediately. And it was like all three at the same time. Like it just didn't feel good. And they didn't get the pop. They kind of were just like introduced in the ring type situation. And I remember as an NXT fan, I was like, that's not how we should have did this.
Yeah.
And then cuts started happening and I lost Alistair. And I was like, dude, like we had, man, I even lost Tony, really. Tony Storm.
Yeah.
So like,
she left.
Yeah, there's NXT is definitely coming to its own. Now it's on CW. So it's more accessible. And, they are becoming a little bit more household. I think it's the best. I don't even want to call it a farming system because you're on TV.
Yeah, I hate to call it that.
Yeah, because I hate to call it developmental. Like, they're on TV.
Yeah.
It's not like, we're doing test runs. Like, we're testing you on the field. Yeah. Like, And
that's why I feel for Trick, now's the time, like, you can only get so good there. You got to move up to the main roster and start working with, now the more established talent, which is only going to make him better. So, yeah, I think Trick's time in NXT is probably coming.
And it should be.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it should be. He deserves it. 100%.
But let me touch back on Eddie Thorpe.
Oh, my God.
Well, because
he's a troublemaker.
Thorpe, actually kind of brilliant. Eddie Thorpe got attacked before the Iron Survivor Challenge so he wasn't able to participate. And because he complained to the management,
shout to Ava,
they rewarded him with a title match,
which is fair.
You didn't get your up. Somebody took you out.
Yeah,
it's fair.
But
what we found out was Eddie Thorpe didn't actually get jumped.
Yeah,
he made it seem like he got jumped so he could avoid going through 25 minutes of hell, and he got himself a championship match. So you know what, Eddie? You know that roll safe meme where the dude is like, you don't have to go through a 25-minute Iron Survivor challenge if you're not in the match.
Yeah, and you know, obviously it's a genius move. Obviously, great storytelling and all that, because they had me sentimental for this dude just a couple of weeks ago,
right?
Because I was like, no, it was an accident. He didn't really do that. And so you're thinking like this poor dude is about to get his ass whooped by the entire bloodline because he may or may not have knocked Ava down to the ground. Right. So I'm like, man, The Rock about to come and just leave a bull across this dude. But then you realize, no, you shady.
Right.
You shady. I don't feel bad for you at all. I hope they all show up.
Right.
And so, it's a genius move, but obviously doing that now, you ruined it for everybody because there's going to be a rule implemented.
Well, especially in NXT. The worst place to find yourself in NXT is in the parking lot.
Yeah.
More people have gotten their asses kicked in the NXT parking lot than in the NXT ring.
Yeah.
So now it's like you're going to get jumped in the parking lot per usual, and no one's going to believe it.
NXT parking lot is the most dangerous place in wrestling.
Man. It's like the O Block. In
there, just head on a swivel.
Right? So, so that happened. Shout out to Eddie.
Yeah,
genius move. Genius. It was diabolical. It was dastardly. It was heelish. But you know what? Worked in your favor. So good on you.
Yeah, but if you don't win.
Yeah, the problem is you either got to fight Trick or Oba. Well, you're going to fight Trick, obviously, but...
And if you don't win that, let me tell you, there will be repercussions.
Well, is that the plan, though? Think about that. You don't want to go face-face. Oba, Trick, maybe Eddie gets the win, and then Oba takes it off him.
Yeah, okay, that could be.
So maybe you don't want to have Oba and Trick go at it. That's going to divide the crowd.
Right.
I don't know what to do then. Whoop that Trick.
Whoop that Trick. Oh,
yeah. But regardless, man, I'm excited to see where they take this.
Absolutely,
it's going to be fun.
Genius move though, but I do feel like there's going to be repercussions.
Oh, absolutely.
Ava don't play.
She don't.
Okay, she don't play, and she don't like getting played. Played for sure. So you might get your title shot. But you're gonna have to say sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna pay the piper.
Yeah.
And then we had the underground fight between two of our favorites, Jada and Lola. I didn't like this match. I don't want to see these two fight.
Come on, ladies, please.
I like to see them in the ring together, but I don't like to see them fight. But of course, Lola got the win, put Jada to sleep.
Well, that's her department.
Her thing.
Yeah.
Once they let her go over Shayna Baszler in that match last year or earlier in the year, it was like, all right, you beat Shayna in this form. This is now yours.
Yeah.
So it would have been hard to see her.
Yeah, it was Undertaker in a casket match. We're like, I'm not about to lose this, bro.
Right? Nah.
I feel that. I love their work. Jada.
Miss Parker.
Miss Parker.
She's one of the realest on the mic. She's one of the realest on the
Let's
mic.
Move on, bro. I'm gonna get fined.
Yeah, because here's the deal. We're trying to be professional.
I'm professional
in business, and I can't if I continue down this path.
Sorry,
talking about Jada, and Lola, and Julia, and Stephanie. So
wrestling.
Let's move.
Wrestling.
Let's move on. They're very
the Dodgers won.
They're extremely talented performers in that ring, and and there's a home for you here.
Please come get interviewed. Now, what else has gone down?
What else has gone down, man?
We got
where you see the Death Riders. Moxley tried to kill Orange Cassidy by making him drink some
let me talk
household
about this.
cleaner.
If it would have went down, cameraman, he need to go to jail. I just can't imagine just sitting there watching someone get poisoned.
Yeah, how you not gonna help?
Nah, bro. Oh wow, he's really dying. Like, dude.
So thank goodness for FTR to come in there. You know, we're still seeing where this is going to go.
Never thought I'd say that.
But yeah, man, I didn't want to see Orange die on national TV.
It's my guy. And, you know, there's a lot going on over there that's happening injury-wise. You know, there's obviously the Rey Fenix talks. I really am excited to see what happens with Penta. But it's some trouble. It's some trouble going on over there, man.
We'll see.
I'm going to see how that folds out. But for now, the best thing over there is the Hurt Syndicate and Swerve.
Man, yeah. Shelton Benjamin's putting in work right now. He's super kicking everybody.
Everybody's
you know.
I love this side of Shelton.
But the thing with the super kick is I just want to bring up the Young Bucks real quick. You know, people used to just crap on the Young Bucks because
I was one of them.
They super kick people 12 times. Well, the thing is, the Young Bucks are smaller.
Yeah.
And I never understood why you're smaller, so you obviously are not going to have the power behind the kick that a 240-pounder is going to have. So, of course, it makes sense for them to super kick people multiple times. What is the point? When Shelton Benjamin super kicks you, he puts you out. That's because that's 260 pounds of pure muscle right there.
And it's more of a thrust.
Yeah.
You know, that.
So I could never understand why people couldn't get why the Young Bucks would super kick people so much, because
I mean, I think
you have to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just
something that was on my mind.
It's a way. Yeah, that's definitely the kayfabe way of selling that. I love that you did that right there.
Thank you. That
was very, very well done. But I just think people don't like the Bucks.
You know,
it's unfair.
It's unfair. And we can talk more about this because I think it's about that time. But for me, I respect what the Young Bucks have done as an indie, traveling that circuit, putting in the work. You know, I always respect people who do something that I love, and I love wrestling. So I'm always going to respect someone who had the testicular fortitude to go out and do it. So, yo, man, I give props to him, man. Like, that's just me. You know, Wakanda forever.
Big old hug. Big old hug. Big old hug.
Well, see, I think we did a pretty good job getting everyone caught up over the last 2 weeks of wrestling, man.
Something I wanted to bring up, because we've done the bar question to ourselves, you know, but somebody who I'm honestly, and they might come up down the road as the more we ask people this, especially those who are of the ECW variety. I'm surprised New Jack hasn't been mentioned in these bar fights yet.
Maybe because he's gone.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But like,
because he has in like the comment section.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen his name a few times, but yeah, I mean, I think we do kind of ask people like now
current or because I know with, you know, there's it's not like we've had this long guest list yet. We're still really new.
Yeah, this is episode 11.
I'm waiting to hear the first person to mention New Jack. You know, because even though he's passed. Mark Henry said Sean O'Hare. Yeah. So, you know, just that guy has some stories on him.
Also, we haven't really had anybody who worked with
him. Yeah, that ECW variety.
The day we get the Rob Van Dams and the Sandmans and the Tommy Dreamers and the Bullies, I'm sure we'll start to hear.
We gotta get Bully. I can get us Bully for sure.
Are you sure?
100%. That's my dog.
We won't run in any roadblocks getting Bully? No
Roblox is a good game. My daughter be playing that.
Yeah.
It was good. Shout out.
Great. Well, I think that brings us to the end of episode 11.
A little chill one for you.
Chill one, you know, because my man, you know, he's a movie star doing movie star things. So, you know, he's going to be in and out for the next couple weeks.
I'm gonna be traveling.
When we getting Jerry Butler on the show?
Honestly, bro, I've been talking to him about wrestling because he, you know, during a lot of the interviews that I've been doing for Den of Thieves 2 Pantera in theaters January 10th.
You see it right there.
A lot of the interviews I've been doing, a couple of people have been asking me about No Contest.
Yeah.
I had a guy ask me, he said, you know, we see you on No Contest. You guys asked about the bar fight question. And he asked me 4 characters that I would want to do a heist with for 4 movie characters.
Bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. What 4 characters would you like to do?
I said I wanted Big Nick from Den of Thieves 2 Pantera in theaters January 10th. Played by Gerard Butler. But he says Jared Butler. That's because they anyway, he's Scottish. I said I wanted Brian, Paul Walker's character in Fast and the Furious. We need 2 getaway cars.
What up, cuh?
Yeah. I said I don't want to talk about it, cuh.
I want to talk about it, cuh.
And then I forget what I said for the third one. I think I forget. It was somebody like I needed a tank, so I don't know if it was a Rock or whoever. But the last person I said I was very happy with, John Wick. I got Wick.
Whatever you want is going to get done.
I'm out, boy. You know We're getting out of here.
Getting out.
Just send him. Yeah, I'll just do the text.
Here's what you got to do. Make sure someone in there did something to his dog and his girl.
Yeah.
By the time you walk into the bar,
John, you know they hate dogs up in here.
You know what I mean? There'll be 47 of them already laid out. The rest you just got to take out 3 of them.
Exactly, dude. James Bond would have been a good one too, but I got Wick.
You got Wick. I think you're good.
Yeah, I'm solid with that, bro.
So Den of Thieves 2, man.
Den of Thieves 2, Pantera.
I get to do a wrestling podcast with a bona fide Nepo baby movie star, man.
Bro, Nepo babies.
Nepo baby in the building.
It's quite a life I suggested for you.
Because how dare your father work hard and be successful and try to provide the best for you?
What, you a provider? You know your family?
O'Shea Sr., how dare you? How dare you work hard writing rhymes so that this man and I could have a wrestling podcast? I
love the Nepo baby talk because it's like, shut up, you were rich. All right. But yeah, dude, everybody make sure you go see Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. It's out January 10th. Support your guy.
When's the premiere for that?
I don't know. It's still up in the air.
Is it here? Or?
It might be. There's talks about it being in New York, which I'm not really a fan of because I just beat them in the World Series and Major League Soccer.
You might not be safe there.
Yeah. But I will be in and out a little bit. But I will make sure that I have time blocked to join my man TJ for the interviews. It's only for a little bit of time. As you guys know, this is my passion project with my man TJ. I got the other job and I might be away. Sometimes you guys are going to get cool shots of set. I'll make sure I send you guys some behind the scenes, and I might even make a celebrity join in to help with an interview. You never know with the No Contest Wrestling Podcast, but either way, I thank every single one of you for being here with us.
No doubt.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your girlfriend, tell your mama. All right,
tell Jada and Lola. Most importantly, tell Jada and Lola.
Right, yeah. Soul too. just tell them I said hi.
And remember, you always catch us on Twitter.
Yeah,
there's No Contest. Instagram, No Contest Wrestling Podcast, and you find all the video clips on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page. We're almost 1 million strong on that page, and people want us to do our own page, but I'm like, I don't want to start from zero when we got almost 1 million people who are able to watch these clips. So yeah, check us out in all of those spots.
Yes. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday. This is the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. When you see somebody, tell them you love them. Damn.
Shout out to Andre the Giant.
Yeah.